Hello, Dr. Coker here, and this is the story recap of Rivenspire from the Elder Scrolls Online. This is part of the Daggerfall Covenant story series. Previously in Stormhaven, after saving High King Emmerich, he tells you that the noble houses of Rivenspire are in conflict and asks for your help. This is what brings you to Rivenspire. Shortly after entering Rivenspire, you encounter Darian, who appreciates that the king has sent help. He says Baron Montclair has declared himself King of Shornhelm.
Sure did. Bastard bribed the city guard, attacked the other nobles, and seized half of Shornhelm. Now Montclair's troops are all over, and the Shornhelm guard's getting its buttocks kicked. So, want to help me save the kingdom?
You agree to help, so he refers you to Countess Tamrinth in the chapel. When you arrive, you witness 3 heads of houses bickering, then offer to help the Countess. She wants to understand Montclair's motives, so she asks you to confront 2 named traitors in search of evidence. You kill both traitors and learn nothing of the Baron, but then you find informative letters elsewhere. You also speak with an orc named Scordo, who's in a cage and won't tell you why, and you have the option to free him. Returning to the chapel, you give the evidence to Baron Dorel and learn that Montclair has skipped town and put an Argonian named Rizel Jewel in charge. The Baron sends you to the Fevered Mews, where Rizel Jewel holds 3 nobles hostage. The moment you enter, you are approached by Verandis, who is one of the heads of house that was bickering in the chapel earlier. He wants to help you free the hostages. Together, you attack Montclair's goons and eventually find a key to the cages. You fight your way through the hideout and free the hostages. Then you face Rizel Jewel, but he immediately flees through a portal, then sends waves of blood fiends through the portal to attack you. Together with Verandis, you defeat the blood fiends and close the portal. After this, Verandis tells you the portal has been used to get Montclair's troops in the city, and by closing it, you've stopped his plan. He says you should inform the High King, who's now in Shornhelm. You find the High King in the chapel and tell him what you and Verandis have accomplished. He isn't surprised that Verandis helped. He says he's a trustworthy ally, and now the city is secure. Then you tell him Rizel Jewel escaped.
Then I suppose we'll have to track him down, he and Montclair both. I fear Montclair's ambitions may be far greater than simply conquering all of Rivenspire. It's better we stop him now.
The king suggests you partner with Verandis and hunt down Rizel Jewel. When you arrive at his manor, you find him and other house members feeding off of a willing human and realize that Verandis is in fact a vampire.
I apologize if the scene before you makes you uncomfortable. I did not expect you to arrive during our mealtime. As for why I kept my true nature hidden, well, let's just say that Emmerich insisted, and one does not refuse the High King lightly.
Deciding to trust him as the High King does, you ask about Montclair and Rizel Jewel. He invites you to walk with him and says the key to saving Rivenspire is in his memories. Then he gives you a potion which allows you to enter his memories and be him in them. In his memory, you see that in the past, Montclair's wife was dying and he begged Verandis to make her a vampire so that she might live. You, as Verandis, get to choose whether to do so, but either way it doesn't happen, because even if you say yes, the Baroness refuses the offer. Then, elsewhere in the house, you find Rizel Jewel, who was an alchemist working for Montclair even then. Rizel Jewel says the potions he's been commissioned to make won't help the Baroness, but he knows of something that will.
I happen to possess an alien relic, or at least a shard from one. But the Baron won't listen to me, especially since Our Lady started refusing my help. If I give you this stone, will you present it to the Baron? He listens to you, my friend.
You agree to help, then the memory skips forward in time. In this scene, the nobles celebrate the Baroness's recovery, but she wishes to speak with you, Verandis, in private. She doesn't feel right and doesn't think the shard is really curing her. You return to Riesel Jewel and tell him the shard isn't working, so he asks you to check his manuscript. Just after you read it, an image of present-day Verandis appears and says they misinterpreted this text at the time, and then sends you to the next memory, which takes place at the Doomcrag. At this point in time, the Baron is blaming Verandis for the fact that his wife isn't getting better, but she says it's not Verandis' fault. As a group, and you as Verandis, you ascend the Doomcrag to find the ancient relic which the shard came from, fighting undead as you go. At the top, you approach the relic and you try to warn the Baron that maybe the relic is dangerous and the Aelids sealed it here for a reason, but he insists on using it anyway. He begins the ritual on his wife using the relic and you reluctantly assist. The Baroness cries out in pain as she transforms into a blood fiend and everyone else present is turned into vampires. You are forced to kill the Baroness. Then your protege Gwendis saves you just before Baron Montclair has a chance to kill you. You then awaken as yourself back in reality. Verandis is happy to have some of his lost memories restored and recalls that his life was saved just in time.
I have Gwendis to thank for that. She pulled me out of there before Montclair and the others were fully recovered. Now, Montclair claims he wants to end death and suffering. That he wants to take the throne of Ronsa. And it's all my fault.
Then he mentions that he discovered something from the notes he read in his memory, but for now he has another task for you. He says Riesel Jewel lurks to the west and he wants you to warn Captain Geneve, who is camped in that area. Captain Geneve is aware that Riesel Jewel is in the area and says right now in the camp they're protecting refugees from Crestshade. She says a refugee named Jonah went missing together with his mother, so you offer to find them. You rescue Jonah as he is attacked by Montclair's forces. Then you learn that he can either sense Riesel Jewel magically somehow, or he is insane, or perhaps both. He refuses to return to camp, saying the others are afraid of him, but he tells you bloodfiends are attacking. You return to camp and find that, sure enough, it was attacked by vampires, and the captain and Darien are missing. You set to work healing the wounded and looking for the captain. Before long, you find Darien wounded in the field, and he says Captain Geneve was dragged into a nearby cave. You find Riesel Jewel and Countess Tamrinth, Geneve's sister. Together with Tamrinth, you kill Riesel Jewel.
Arise, my children. Attack!
In the next room, you find Geneve, but all is not well.
What happened to... No! No! Not you, Geneve! Not you!
What?
Geneve has been turned into a vampire, and you must decide whether to kill her or spare her life. Either way, you proceed safely outside and the Countess thanks you. Then Gwendis approaches, saying Verandis would like to meet you at the Lorcrada ruins, as his research leads him there. You find Verandis outside, and the two of you enter a trapdoor found in one of the towers. You find that they glow in eerie purple, and Verandis realizes that Montclair got there before him and has put this place under a spell. The landscape is an illusion, and together you exploit anomalies in the illusion to break the spell and progress through the ruins. Eventually, you find what he came for, an ancient Aelid text about the Remnant of Light, which was what the Dark Relic was called before it became corrupted. The two of you leave the ruins. Outside, Verandis thanks you for your help and says he has more research to do before you can proceed. He then tells you that he heard from Gwendis that Montclair is causing trouble in Northpoint.
Gwendis reported that Northpoint has been sealed. I fear Montclair already controls the city. Find Baron Doral. He commands the troops amassing outside the city. I'm sure he has a plan in motion. Talk to the Baron and see what you can do to help.
Baron Doral appreciates the help, then asks you to team up with Skordo, the orc from the cage in Shornhelm, and sneak into the city. You find Skordo disguised as one of Montclair's men, and he has a few captives behind him. You interrogate them and learn of a nearby enemy command post. At the command post, you find a key to the officer's quarters, then head back over. You locate the office and enter to find Darien shirtless with a woman in her underwear behind him. She's asleep, but he got some good info from her. He says there's a smuggler's tunnel they can use to get into the city. Gwendis enters and is impressed with what Darien has learned, but says there's a locked gate in the tunnel and a pirate named Lagra has the key. On the coast nearby, you find a note saying that Lagra's ship was attacked, so you walk the coast looking for the pirates. You find the sunken ship and search it. In a small lockbox, you find the key. But then Captain Lagra catches you and demands you hand over her key. Once you explain that you're using it to take out the Montclairs, she agrees to let you go. Then you rendezvous with Gwendis, Scordo, and Baron Dorel, and together prepare to take back Northpoint. First, you sneak in through the smuggler's tunnel. Looking around the city, you pick an empty home to establish a safe house for operations. Scordo asks you to find the others and inform them about the safe house while he gets it ready.
Gather the others and let's meet at the manor. We have plans to make and I fear our time grows short. The light preserve us.
Back at the safe house, you learn that Baron Dorel's son Alec has been infatuated with a Montclair vampire named Lorea, and she's been turning citizens into blood fiends for some time. Then Countess Tamrinth gives you a key to the inn and asks you to check there for survivors. Baron Dorel goes with you.
Let's check upstairs. Someone must have survived this nightmare.
Be silent. We don't want them to hear us.
Blademaster Karyar does not want to open the door as he is keeping people safe in the attic, but the Baron convinces him to come out eventually. Karyar then explains that Lorea came to the city on good terms, but she deceived everyone and turned them into blood fiends.
Lady Lorea has taken Dorel Manor as her own, but I have a key. Take it. Save as many of our people as you can. And be aware that Lord Alec is still with her. He was alive when I last saw him, but completely under Lorea's influence.
You go straight to Dorel Manor, where you find Alec and the other nobles completely enthralled by Lorea and partying while their fellow citizens lie dead on the floor. You find Lorea upstairs, who tries to charm you. You threaten her, then she tells you to meet her downstairs as she vanishes. On your way down, magical projections of Verandis warn you about her.
As usual, Verandis once again ruins my fun. I guess I'll just have to destroy you now.
After you kill her, Verandis appears again. He's saddened by Lorea's fate, but tells you the spell should now be lifted. He asks you to meet him near Doomcrag next for the final confrontation. First though, you check on Alec, and he has no idea what happened. You tell him that many have died, but the city is now secure again. Outside, Alec's father chastises him and has him arrested.
You may not believe this, but that wasn't how I wanted our reunion to play out. But laws were broken. People died. I can't ignore our laws. Not even to save my son.
You tell him it's time to head to Doomcrag to face Montclair himself. He agrees to gather his troops and meet you there. You find Verandis camped near the Doomcrag. He confirms that Montclair is here and says he has activated ancient defenses which block the path, but he's learned of 2 portal chambers nearby that can help you lead to the top, so he asks you to investigate them. After the first is a success, he asks you to check out the second one. The second is protected by a puzzle involving 4 statues and poems about the 4 seasons. Once you provide the correct answers, access to the second portal chamber is granted. Dorel's troops emerge, and everyone is ready, but Verandis is not sure bringing an army to Montclair is a good idea, and he suggests they stay behind instead. Dorel dislikes this plan, and insists that his best troops come along and only a few stay behind. Countess Tamrinth also brought troops, and also refuses to have them stay behind. As you climb the steps, the spirit of an ancient Aelid appears and warns that the relic up ahead cannot be destroyed, or else its curse will flow unhindered. Further ahead, outside the door to where Montclair awaits, you tell Verandis that all the troops came anyway despite his warnings. He fears they will be turned into blood fiends, but says it's too late, we must proceed anyway.
Arcane, protect us! What is that?
Baron Montclair. He's here.
Troops, on my command.
Welcome, Verandis. And like a good guest, I see you brought me gifts to play with. Allow me to grant my blessing to your army.
This is exactly what I feared. He's turned our own troops into blood fiends.
After defeating your former troops turned to blood fiends and various undead monstrosities, Verandis pleads with Montclair to stop, but he's gone completely mad and teleports the others away. Verandis and you proceed up the Doomcrag. You find Gwendis, Doral, and Tamrinth trapped in a magical blood ward, and the two of you break it. Just after you free them, Darien and Scordo arrive, and Verandis instructs them to take the three others to safety. You speak to Verandis about what's next.
If Montclair dies while connected to the Remnant, the relic breaks and unleashes its curse upon Rivenspire. No one would be safe from the Blood Fiend Plague. We need to stop Montclair, but we need to do so in a way that doesn't doom Rivenspire.
He asks you to keep Montclair distracted while he figures it out.
Let the power of the Remnant wash over you!
As you defeat Montclair, the relics begin to crack and Verandis rushes in. He tells you he knows the only way to stop it. He has made a deal with Molag Bal to take himself and the relic to Cold Harbor.
The deal has already been made. It's either this, or allow everyone to turn into the very fiends we worked so hard to save them from. There is no other way. Tell Gwendis that I will miss her. She was always so full of life. Farewell, my friend.
You say farewell and return to the others.
That persnickety vampire really came through in the end. He was a good man. For a vampire, I mean. We won the day, and that's what matters. The people of Rivenspire are safe now.
I need a little time to say my farewells. Don't worry about me. I won't do anything stupid. I promise. But you need to get back to Shornhelm. Without Verandis there, they're gonna need your help to figure out what happens next.
Back in Shornhelm, you find High King Emmerich in the throne room, and he praises you for your heroism once again. Then he says, Shornhelm's throne can no longer be ruled by squabbling nobles. They need a king or a queen. He's considering both Countess Tamrinth and Baron Doral and asks for your recommendation. You speak with both candidates, listening to their pitch for the throne and why they each think the other candidate isn't fit for the job. You make your choice and Emmerich does the honors.
All hail the new ruler of Rivenspire.
After the coronation, Queen Mariah, who is both Emmerich's wife and the daughter of King Faharajad, praises you for saving Rivenspire. She then wonders if you can help her father as well. She asks you to travel to Alakir Desert to help deal with a necromancer and sentinel, so you head that way. And that's the end of Rivenspire. I hope you've enjoyed this story. Keep an eye on this channel. I'll be working on the story video for Alakir Desert next. Until next time.